Stomp Films, bitches. Womp 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 Stomp Films, bitches.
Womp Stomp Films, and we just hit that goal. This motherfucker make it rain on that stripper pole. He bout to get so down and film this fucking film. You better watch that shit because it's gon' go hard. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? It is Friday night, and it means that it is time for the Ghost Files. What's up, everybody? It's been a couple of weeks. Thank you for hanging out and showing up this week. Good to see everybody in the chat. Let's see. Let's go check in with the people. As I saw some good comments. Jacob Thompson. Hello, my friend. How you doing, buddy? Jacob Thompson, a very good cosplayer. I believe out of Indiana area, at least. We've bumped into each other a few times, or I think we bumped into each other Atlanta, Indiana, somewhere. But I know you're out there somewhere. He was actually a co-producer on Never Hike Alone, too. So good to see you, buddy. Let's bring him up right there. There he is, looking beautiful in that photo. Looking good. What's up, Lamontre? Miller's Meat Locker. Anthony Harks wishes he was tuning into my OnlyFans tonight, but that costs extra money. What's up? Alonda Undead in the chat tonight. He is our moderator. Thank you for coming out every single week. And like he says, make sure you like, subscribe, all the things you need to do to help support this channel. We have super chats activated. We got things you can help out in the comments. So if you want to help out the Womp Stomp Films channel, please check out the comments or leave a super chat if you want to ask a question tonight before we jump into anything. Sam Haynes Knight hanging out tonight. What's up, man? Zachary Ellison. It's too bad the comments aren't a part of the stream. If it was interactive, I'd actually show up every week, but they are a part of the stream. And you're active. You're part of it right now. I try to check in as much as I can. Let me see. What's up, Allie girl? I see you in there. She's here every week. Super chat fan over there. Big Blue Wolf. What's up, man? Robert the Wolf Man from Arizona. What's up, buddy? My good Dylan's New Nightmare and Horror Show channel friend out there. I believe that's about everybody. Let me see. I got Gene Whitcomb out there. Hey, what's up, Gene? How you doing? Well, anybody, thank you everybody for showing up this week on the Ghost Files. Last week we took a week off because I was a little busy with our local film festival called the New Bedford Film Festival. It was the inaugural one. For those who don't know, I'm from the East Coast. I originally grew up in South Coast, Massachusetts. And the largest city near me, I would say, is New Bedford. And if you don't know what New Bedford is, you can Google it. I'm sure you'll find it. But if you've ever read Moby Dick, New Bedford was once the city that lit the world. It was actually one of the richest, if not the richest city in the world during the big whaling heydays because it was a huge whaling port. That's right. We used to murder whales back when it was legal, and we were pretty damn good at it too. In fact, we were the best. And then that industry dried up, and then we went into textile and all sorts of things. But the thing I love about New Bedford, it's actually got a great artistic community. There's lots of artists, there's lots of musicians, there's actually lots of filmmakers. I came out of this area, and I know that there are plenty of others out here. So that was one thing that was great about last week, was seeing a lot of local filmmakers come out, and also filmmakers coming out from all over the world and all over the country, especially for the first one. For those of you who don't know, I am a board member and one of the judges for the New Bedford Film Festival this year, which is the first time I've ever been on that side of the on the aisle of it. So it was a really fun experience for me. The founder of the film festival is a gentleman by the name of Ethan Diaguiar. He was helped out by a gentleman by the name of Seth Chitwood, who is a writer at the Standard Times here in South Coast New England area. Who actually did a piece on Never Hike Alone 2 a couple years ago. And it's another special shout out to Alyssa Botello, who helped me get hooked up with this crew to be a board member. She's also a fellow New England filmmaker, URI graduate. She had a film in the festival called All to Dusk, All Return, and I had a chance to work on her most recent film, Sweet Freedom, a few months ago as one of the production design team, helping out the team. So anyway, it was a great weekend last weekend, and we had a lot of fun. Kind of needed that, I think. Came home, been working a lot. been catching up on work, been catching up on funds, been catching up on Never Hike Alone 2 stuff. So it was nice to go out to a festival and just sort of enjoy it without, too much of a rigmarole. We had a bunch of panels over the weekend. The screenings all went well. In fact, yeah, Jason and Vincent's whale lore. In fact, I got a little something, something. Let me see. Here's a cool little photo that we can use. Check this out. Pew! So here's a look from the New Bedford Film Festival. Here I am minimized. Just a look from the New Bedford Whaling Museum. More whale lore for Jacob out there. But this was one of our main kind of areas that we hung out. This is where we did the opening night festivities. This screening room is located within the Whaling Museum, which is really cool. We also were also at Steeple Playhouse. We were at Ground Floor, which is a coffee shop down in the harbor of New Bedford, because New Bedford's a big harbor. It's actually really, really cool. We're also over at Groundwork as well, where many of our screenings and panels happening. So it was a collective effort by a bunch of people across the city. Like I said, I had a wonderful time. It's the first time that I've actually had a chance in a while to kind of sit down and just talk shop. It's, the panels were great. The networking was great. I actually got to lead a panel that was called Roadmap from short stories to feature films. And I actually got to tell a little bit of the story about how Never Like Alone got created, how we started with our about $350 trailer that we released in 2016, and how that grew into a $350,000 feature film, which actually played at the festival. We had a great turnout. We had a lot of people showing up, and had, met some really good friends over the weekend. So really looking forward to next year and the way it's going to grow. So if you're a filmmaker, or if you know anybody who's got films, I would say keep an eye out for the New Bedford Film Festival. We take all genres. We take all levels of filmmakers too. But I got to say, it was a really impressive bunch. The people in my panel really brought some films that were really great and had some really great stories. I'm not sure if those panels will be posted online anywhere, but if not, man, missed out. I'll tell you that much. We got into the weeds. We talked about, the ups and downs of filmmaking, how to take an idea and stick with it. A lot of people's stories were really about how, it took years to get projects made. One of the filmmakers talked about how it took him 3 years to cast the role of his lead character while he was doing other things and sort of having this feature film as a pipe dream, and had a short film in mind. Eventually found his lead actor, and she, I believe, won Best Actress at the awards ceremony, which was really, really cool. I got you, Zach. I got you. Now, to be fair, Zach, not every week I don't have a chance to look down and see the things. I'm sort of running this by myself right now. And so I do skip over things. If you really want to get a question, I'm going to tell you, super chat, it pops right up. I can select it. It becomes a special thing. It makes it easier for me. Or I'll say, hey, now's a good time to ask questions because I haven't looked at the stream in a while. And your comments can sometimes build up fast because you guys will start going back and forth. And then Ronnie gets into the chat and all hell breaks loose. And that's, so although I don't see those guys in there tonight, I'm sure they'll swoop in at some point. Yes, Blue Wolf. I had a blast. In fact, I had a chance to sort of go. Oh, I keep covering myself. Let me see. I want to keep this up just because it's cool. I'm going to pull down this little banner. Bam, you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about the New Bedford Film Festival. I had a chance to walk around the city too. I want to throw a couple of shout outs to some people. I want to shout out to my friend Ted and Jay over at Kojo's Toy World in New Bedford, Massachusetts. If you're a toy collector, I would say check them out online or in person. I can't remember the exact name of the street, but if you just type in Kojo's Toy World, it's really, really cool. There's another great store in New Bedford, Massachusetts called Horror is Family, run by a gentleman named Matt who loves horror. And I would liken it to my good friends at Nightmare Toys. Feels like an extension of that right here in Southern New England. And so that's really what I'm talking about tonight. Is I'm really excited about the future of filmmaking in Southern New England. There are a lot of talented filmmakers here. All the programs in the colleges around here, which used to not have film programs, now do. UMass Dartmouth, URI, I believe Bridgewater State. I graduated from Worcester State, but I spent some time at Hofstra. In fact, one of the Hofstra alum met a Hofstra alumni at at the film festival, director by the name of Charlie, who had a film called The Lost Weekend, which was really, really cool. And he's out of Sandwich. So, I mean, one of the reasons why I moved back across the country was because I wanted to find my brethren here where I grew up. Kind of got sick of running around LA, trying to fight that tide. But out here, it's been really great. I heard a lot of great pitches over the weekend. I have obviously a billion things I want to do. But I'm actually really excited at the prospect of being able to produce some stuff out here. So like I said, if anybody watches this stream or if anybody in the chat right now is in this area, you got to hit us up because we're going to be building something out here for years to come. I'm looking forward to the community of filmmakers that are going to be built out of this area. And I'm hoping that, people want to travel up here too and make some stuff. We got friends all over the country. I'd obviously love to host some folks and come up with some great ideas. So very much looking forward to that. And speaking of film festivals, if you missed the last film festival, well, guess what? Are you going to be near the Chicago area? Well, May 3rd through 5th, the Chicago Horror Film Festival is happening in Chicago, Illinois, and I will be there. Never Hike Alone 2 is playing on Saturday. Definitely check out the old Womp Stomp Instagram and social media. Let me see. What am I doing? Looking up exact dates because I'm not always the best. Let's see. And I'm really bad at social media, so you got to give me a second here. Boop. There we go. Chicago. It's going to be at Facets Theater, 1517 West Fullerton Ave in Chicago, Illinois, 60614. Never Hike Alone is up for Best Picture. Tom Matthews is up for Best Actor. I am up for Best Director, surprisingly, and Never Hike Alone was actually nominated for Best Poster as well. So congratulations to Ashley Covington and RYVE Collective, who helped us design that sort of Halloween Ends looking poster, just with the ending that people actually wanted in a film. Yeah. All right, I'm on fire tonight. Let's see. Let's get back into the comments before Nick starts yelling at me. Who's this? Rome Bernstein. I made my first episode of my Friday the 13th ARG 2 days ago. Thanks to my guys. Well, Rome, congratulations. You dove into the pool. Whenever you get done with it, post it online, tag us in it. We'll definitely check it out. Leave you a comment, tell you how you're doing. That's too bad for me. I'm in Michigan. No, it's not too bad, Blue Wolf, because guess what? Our good friends Cortland and Ryan from Oddest of the Odd, they're out of Michigan, and we do projects up there from time to time, and I would love to work with those guys again soon. We exchange texts, all the time. I know they're busy, but hey, pretty soon I want to get back up to Michigan. In fact, Happy Halloween, the Halloween fan film, the Halloween Kills fan film, which is on the Jimmy Champagne page, and we do share it on the Womp Stomp page as well. That was filmed in Michigan. The only place where I've ever been that you could just set a car on fire in someone's backyard and no cops show up. So I definitely want to get back to Michigan as soon as I can because it was a lot of fun working with those guys, and I'd love to do that. Let's see. Thank you, Mardina. Thank you, Mardina. Yeah, so next week, Chicago. Is anybody going? Throw it down in the chats. Let me know if you're going to be there. Let me see. Who do I know that is going? I know Mark from Cinescare is going to be there. I know that who else is going to be there? There's going to be a few backers that I know are going. Lots of good films are playing that weekend. Got to say thank you to CJ, the festival director, for giving me a heads up that Never Hike Alone was going to be sort of like in the mix, and I'd sort of been stuck in getting my life together, and it was really nice to just hear there's going to be a panel on Friday, so PJ Starks is going to be in that. A couple other really good filmmakers are going to be in it. So if you're in the area, you got to come out and check it out. Thank you, Allie Girl. Thank you for rooting. Oh, what's Jacob doing? I would love to, but planning to head out to Chicago next week would be a little ridiculous for me and my mom. Hey, no pressure. No pressure. Plus, you got to get tickets, all those things. See, Cheesy Popcorn, he might go. Look at that. Look at that icon. That's great. It's nice icon. I was actually just working on that stuff today, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting to Chicago. Like I said, it'll be good to get back out to the Midwest. I haven't been out there in a little bit. I know we got a ton of fans out there, and I haven't really been on the circuit there as much. There's Davey Deathray. Really quick shout out to him real quick. After this stream, I believe he's starting around 8:30. I don't know, my time, his time. I can't remember. But this this stream will actually kick off right into Davies, hopefully, if we can actually keep it that long. I don't plan on staying too late tonight. It has been a long week. And quite frankly, I'm not as prepared as I thought I would be with anything to say other than some of these updates and things that I think people might want to know. But I will say this, there are some cool updates, and I am working on stuff for future shows. There are future projects coming up. I'm going to get certain guests on. I got to reach out to people and see who wants to join me. I know that Mike from We Watched a Movie has shown interest in coming on the show. I would love to chat with him. I've never actually had a chance to sit one-on-one and have a conversation with him. We've chatted back and forth on Twitter, and I've watched all the reviews of Never Hike Alone, which always jazz me up because they usually give us a decent review, and they get really excited about, everything that we've done with that stuff. So that'd be good. Blind Rocket talking about this sweet coffee mug. Right, yeah. This on one side, the Womp Stomp logo on the other. You guys are all joining Sweet Tea with Vinny D this week. I feel like I should just have a ghost file where I just talk shit instead of just going on Twitter and getting in trouble and everybody getting mad at me because I dislike a movie. I'll just come here and just drink the sweet tea and we can talk about the movies we didn't like. I know that would be fun. Or I could just make these weird, I got to get out of the habit of just making posts ranting because it always seems unhinged. And I actually came across one not too long ago where I must have posted years ago. And I was like, Vin, what are you doing, man? You got to spend your time better than this. You could have wrote 3 pages in your script rather than reading this thing. So I don't know. Let me see. What's Jacob say? I would love to talk a ton of shit about movies I don't like. It's not a good, don't waste the energy on hate, Jacob. That's what I could say to you. Look who's in the chat. Oh my God. All the good names are taken. Podcasts in the chat this week. Definitely tune into whatever those guys are up to this week. I'm sure it's going to be embarrassing somebody. If not themselves. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I love you. Let me see. We actually missed you at Horror Hound, Ohio, because we just expected it to happen later in the year. I believe Never Hike is in the running to be in a Horror Hound. We haven't got an official word. I don't know if we're going to get selected. To tell you the truth, I got a feeling that most people are over the fan film thing for their festivals. So we just got to figure it out. I will be working with certain festivals or people in areas to get screenings going, but yeah, I always say the best way to see a Never Hike Alone film is on a big screen with a group of people, with a group of other Friday the 13th fans. So one thing that we do like to do, and I would say the greatest example ever, and I don't even see him in the chat yet, which is shame on him, broken legs for Joe Gallo. But a few years ago, I remember Joe Gallo and his team and his wife, Sherry, and Emily up in New York, they did Jason Lives, partnered with Never Hike Alone's double screening, and they said that the place went crazy. They said they had a great screening for Never Hike Alone too. So if you happen to live near a local theater that does, indie screenings, or you live near Smodcast or anything like that, or just anywhere, and you can make a deal with them, it's usually pretty easy and pretty cheap to get the double feature going. And anyone who wants to do it, I will definitely throw them the 4K version of Never Hike Alone, and they can launch something of their own locally, and we'll host a thing, and maybe we can bring people out. That would be really fun. Let me see. Yeah, see, and Jacob gets it. See, Jacob is still a child, and he gets it. It's fun to talk shit with your friends. It's not mean-spirited. We're not trying to steal anyone's thunder. It's just sometimes it's funny to talk shit, and it makes people laugh. And you can love something and hate something. Like, one of my favorite things to do is go into some of my Godzilla chat rooms. Shout out to Big G hanging out with us this week. And I got to say, one of the funniest things that makes me laugh are the Kong versus Godzilla wars that people have about how, who would win in the fight, who actually won. It was actually technically Kong should have won, all that stuff. And Daddy Kong and Godzilla, all this stuff. Kong is the real king and Godzilla is this and Godzilla. It's funny. You just talk shit. You talk shit about Godzilla in 1998 like it never existed, because it shouldn't. And it's fun. and nobody's feelings get hurt. Nobody has to, get into an altercation because we don't agree on the same movie, which I narrowly escaped getting attacked by Scream fans today because I asked a question. Wow, I didn't realize how toxic that bunch is. You even bring up the core four and saying anything against them, and all of a sudden you've waged war on a part of the country or a part of the world, I guess you could say, without really meaning to it. I'm going to be like 18 and 2. Stop growing, then. Stop growing. You're still a child to me. Let's see. They are. I mean, it was pretty crazy. I was just like, I wasn't trying to, I'm not saying anything. They were like, what are you saying? And I was like, I'm just saying, maybe don't go so hard at a dude just because he came up with a theory. I mean, talk crap and just have fun with it. Let me see. All right. So let's get into some more meatier things. Never Hike Alone 2 Indiegogo updates, the serious stuff. How are things going? Vinny, where's my digital perk that you said I was going to go on April 13th? Well, I'm a little late, I know, but I have good news. As I showed you 2 weeks ago, I was doing the breakdown, basically getting everybody into their individual shipping lists. I had just finished domestic and I was moving on to international. I have been cruising through international. I actually discovered that of the international that I thought I had left, 130 of them were actually just digital perks. So I got those cleared out, and I'm actually down to the final 199 international backers, which I plan on completing tomorrow. I should have that done by half the day. I will finally have all my proper email lists. And today, good news, I had Carl Winery and James Sweet of the Jason Rising, Red Crow Films, Heart Carl Productions. They're my boys. Like, they help me out with everything. We always go back and forth on helping each other with our films and crowd funds and all that fun stuff. And so I sent them the digital perk, like the email that will go out to everybody else. They received it today. I got good word that the links are working, the downloads are working. I changed the settings so this time no one can delete stuff randomly. And let me tell you, this digital download, I can't believe people only got this thing for $20. You're getting like 5 movies. You're getting 3 movies worth of phone backgrounds, mobile backgrounds, 3 scripts, and 3 soundtracks for $20. This is crazy. I'm going to tell you, everybody who backed the campaign this time, be lucky, because when we do the final cut, the digital perk is not going to be that cheap. And it's going to be a whopping $25 next time. All right. We're going to jack that thing up. So yeah, happy to report that digital perks will start, hopefully being sent out next week. I don't know what the limit is on how many, how many things I can actually send out in one email. So I got to take it chunk by chunk by chunk. I'll actually probably go international first because there's smaller batches, and then work my way through all of the domestic backers. I'll announce when that's all done. If I missed anybody, just email me. It's a quick email right back. And then we'll start moving towards the Blu-rays and all those things. I still have to do some work with the credits. I still have to do the work with the Blu-rays. So those things aren't quite in yet, but I did hear that Tom Matthews did his interview. So he was the last interview besides me. And everything's looking really, really good. I actually saw a clip of one of Vinny's interviews, which was really, really cool. Not me, Vinny Guastafaro, which was actually really, really inspiring and really great. So shout out to Matthew Speak, who has been conducting all of our interviews in Los Angeles with our local cast and crew out there. They've been coming great. I actually got a chance to check out some of the behind the scenes stuff today from Haunted Hippie, who is out there, Kylie, who's one of the assistants who worked with us on the film too, who has a great channel here on YouTube. Let me see. Jacob, there's going to be another campaign I need to throw money at. Yeah, we're doing the final cut. Last time I checked with the editor, Mike had done a rough cut. I gave him some notes. I don't even know if I really watched. I didn't even watch it yet. We were just talking about the way to break it up and the way it would work. And sort of what slides in where time code wise. So he's working on that. Another cool update, Ghost in the Fog. A lot of people have been asking about Ghost in the Fog. What's going on with Ghost in the Fog? Well, like I said, I think a long time ago, for the Never Hike Alone 2 Blu-ray, Ghost in the Fog will not be on that Blu-ray. We did not finish it. We had enough to get it through Storyboard Animatic. Front to back, it's all cut. There's actually a full film that you could watch that's not animated, but it's storyboards and it's sort of animated on like every fifth frame type thing, which is really cool. We're going to include a segment of that, a sneak preview on the Never Hike Alone 2 Blu-ray. When we do Never Hike Alone, the final cut, the first stretch goal is going to be Ghost in the Fog. And let me tell you, the team at Mako Animation is killing it. They've been sending me updates. They went back and redid all of the characters, including Ghost Jason. They're actually building the set in Unreal, which is really rad. I've seen some fly-throughs. We've been talking about, the different buildings and, the sets that need to be built and the way they're going to be there. I've seen some new animation tests with Jason. We're going to have some TikTok shorts. They're going to come, TikTok shorts while it's still around, but we're going to have little vertical video stories that you'll be able to see pretty soon. And so, I ordered all the Blu-rays. Yep. And so a lot of you who got the Blu-rays and stuff like that, let me see, I'm just kind of go there. Boop, boop, boop. And then this. So will the final cut be like NHA 1, NHA 2, and Snow all put together? That is correct. That is basically the ghost cut with Never Hike Alone 2 in it, but we're going to intersplice the movies this time, or at least we're going to try that at first. If that doesn't work, we're just going to lay them out one after the other, so it's a little bit easier to make it work. And then we just want to stuff that Blu-ray with as much, bonus content as possible. So the first goal is going to be the Never Hike Alone final cut. All that money will be going to our post-production teams and be set aside for shipping and handling and all those fun things. The second goal will be Ghost in the Fog, which will be a fully animated 7.5, 8-minute short film animated by Mako Animation. And then we'll see what there's going to be any additional, any reach goals beyond that. After that, it may just be about, raising some charity or something like that, because at that point we're sort of breaking even. Let me see. I should have been part of Never Hike Alone 2 video, or at least have a picture of myself. Sorry, man. Hey, it's all right. There may be more opportunities with Ghost in the Fog. If we unlock that tier, you're going to have the opportunity to get a missing persons poster, and get your face drawn into the movie. And if you were to back at a certain level, we have two characters. We have Dom and we have, what's her name? Bree. Her name's Bree. So we have Dom and Bree. We have a male and female character left who actually we could draw their likeness after you. Our first character, which used to be called Steven or something, is now Brandon, because it's actually Brandon Cummington, became a backer, and he is not only an executive, he's either an executive producer or co-producer, but the guy looks like him now, which is pretty cool. And he's one of the first characters in the film. It's actually the character that I voice. So yeah, lots of cool things coming there. Let me see. Did I miss anything, guys? Nope, I didn't miss too much. Yeah, you got 25 people in the stream. It would be awesome to have something Ghost in the Fog. Yeah, I think with that one thing we're going to concentrate on is really cool behind the scenes features for that. I mean, obviously everything will kind of go on there. Maybe dual disc. Maybe that will be a stretch goal. If we get a certain amount, we'll make it a dual disc. We'll be able to sort of fit Never Hike Alone 2 on one disc and maybe all the other movies on the other disc, all redone in some way. I don't know. Maybe if we got enough money to do that. Hey, yeah. That's about when we're going to launch it. Probably like June or August, May, June or August. I will be launching it on Kickstarter. Yes, that's right. We are escaping Indiegogo, and we're going to go right to Kickstarter because it's all or nothing for us from here on out. And we're looking to get involved with their film community, which is, just it's unmatched right now. And I wish I had been doing more of our Never Hike Alone stuff over at Kickstarter for a longer period of time. I just got embedded over at Indiegogo, and I think that Never Hike Alone 2 was actually not, Never Hike Alone 2 was sort of like, I knew I was kind of tapering out, but when we did the Bath Bomb campaign, we lost out on dozens of backers because payments weren't going through, and I don't think some of those people didn't come back. You know, it's one thing when you got a giant campaign that's making $350,000 and there's plenty of backers to come. But when, you know, you're looking to raise 10, 20, $25,000 on a crowdfunding campaign, like 10 to 12 backers can make a huge difference because you never know what someone's going to give. You never know what level they're going to back at. Oh my God. Oh my God. Happy birthday, Jason X. Today is the 22nd anniversary of Jason X. Today is the 22nd anniversary of the first time I ever got to see a Friday the 13th film in the theater. Went with my friends from high school. I believe we left during quiet period. We left school early that day. Dave, you can't be missing people's hellos. You got to be on top of the ball there. Yeah. So let me see what's going on. What else is going on with Never Hike, Indiegogo? While I can still talk about it. Yeah. So I still need a little bit more time on the Blu-rays, which is, obviously that's going on. If you were a backer in Dylan's New Nightmare, or if you haven't backed Dylan's New Nightmare, that campaign closes, I believe, Sunday or Monday. So you're going to want to jump on that ASAP. The vinyls are in. There's all sorts of cool perks coming in there. So if you didn't back Dylan's New Nightmare and you want to get a Blu-ray, now is the time. Do not miss your chance. Let me see what else is going on here. So sad that Jason X didn't get into the game. Also, rest in peace, Friday the 13th, the game. Yes, Friday, RIP indeed. Let me see. What else did I have in here? Cool. How are we going? Only a half hour. Man, I'm ripping through stuff tonight. Let me see. What else is going on with the campaign? You guys saw that I had some VHSs in. You saw that I had some other stuff in. I got to get through. I got to go back and I got to take pictures of all the props that we have and start lining those things up. Obviously, our prop winners, I'll reach out to you when the time is right. I do owe Davey and I can't remember who else it was, but I do owe someone else their tapes. They're actually set aside for me to ship. I will get to those pretty soon. Let me see what else is going on. So let's talk about if you guys have any questions or if you got any specific things for the Never Hike Alone 2 thing, we'll jump into that later. But let's talk about upcoming projects. Let's talk about upcoming projects, right? Well, obviously we know we got the Ghost Files. We're going to be going on a bit of a regular stream every weekend. Obviously I'll be gone the weekend of May 3rd through the 5th. I'll be in Chicago. I'll actually be on a plane. I don't think I can stream from the plane, so we won't necessarily be able to do that. If you guys haven't yet, make sure if you guys want to ask any questions at the end of the stream, drop a what are they called? Super chat. Drop a super chat in, ask a question. If you got anything that you want to know, I'll definitely get to it at the end of the stream. But so we know that we have those coming up. I definitely want to have some guests on. If there's anything or anyone you think I should have on, or if you want to talk about that, I would love to have you guys on and bring on guests and talk about their films. Maybe I'll reach out to some of the people for New Bedford Film Festival. I'd love to have some of those filmmakers come on. They have some wonderful stories. They made some wonderful films. We do that, but yeah. So let's talk about some upcoming projects. What are we working on here? There's some things that I can talk about, and there's things that I can't talk about. There's one thing that I'm actually getting involved with right now, which we almost talked about this week, but we're having a meeting with the team next week. I just want to say that there's a new fan project that I am possibly going to get involved with. Which tune in next week or the week after, because I may bring that team on to talk about it. But I'm actually really, really excited about it. This is tapping into a fan base of mine that I haven't talked about much. I've talked about how much I love Jason. Talked about how much I love Godzilla. There's another fictional character that's in the pop culture stream that's, a very popular franchise that has no shortage of fan films and fan creations, and there's a certain team that's getting involved with making their own version of it, which really fits the bill for, I believe, a great collaboration. In the past, like I've said, we've collaborated with the Horror Show channel on Dylan's New Nightmare. We collaborated with Red Crow Films for Jason Rising. We collaborated with Odyssey of the Odd and Jimmy Champagne for Halloween Kills, and the list goes on for all the films that we've kind of collaborated with over the year. But this one is going to be really fun. You would think it's stepping outside the horror genre, but we're actually injecting horror into this project. So that is my tease for that project, which is going to be really nice. Hopefully we'll have more on that next week. Like I said, we're having a meeting with the team next week. We're going to talk about announcement details and all of those things. And that may be one of the first projects that we launch on Kickstarter, aside from the Never Hike Alone Supercut. Speaking of the Never Hike Alone Supercut, we actually launched some artwork for it. I won't say too much, but the artist actually reached out to me randomly. And if you could say, Vin, what's the style that you have always wanted to get with your Never Hike Alone projects for artwork, but never really found the artist to do it that specific way? Well, I finally happened to stumble upon somebody because they jumped into my DMs and were like, hey, if you're looking for stuff, this is my style and I'd love to work with you guys. And it's exactly what I wanted. So the Never Hike Alone final cut will have completely brand new artwork, original artwork that's just for that, is designed just for the final cut. And that just got launched. So I'll probably see some work on that, in the coming weeks, which will be really, really cool. Super excited. I'm currently in the middle of rewriting a feature right now. One that I'm attached to that I can't really talk about, but what I can say is that it's a feature film. This would be something that we would try to get financed, not through crowdfunding, but through traditional financing. I have probably another 2-3 weeks worth of work left on it because I've been sort of slowed down by doing the Never Hike Alone stuff. But as soon as I get the orders off my plate, my pitch deck, or not my pitch deck, I can't say that. I have to say my lookbook. My lookbook and my script should be done with that. I'm working on that werewolf script that I think I mentioned a while ago. That's next on the list of things to write. But another thing I sort of wanted to put out in the ether, and I just want people to know about, is kind of jumping off what we did with New Bedford Film Festival. We're going to be looking to get a lot of projects based out of New England over the next year shot in and around the New Bedford area. And I have already started to go around and pick out locations and pick out ideas. And I'm sort of looking for other New England filmmakers who have projects that they want to produce. We're trying to sort of rally a community down here to hopefully line up some funding and work with some local businesses and start creating short films that are going to be, I think, a mixture of comedy, drama, horror, definitely got a spin of our South Coast flavor out here, which is really good. In fact, one of the things that really popped off at the New Bedford Film Festival was the 48-hour film festival that we had within the festival, which is really cool. So a bunch of local, some college kids, some younger children, some local sort of artisans who wanted to dip their toe more into film and flex their muscles, all contributed. And it was one of the biggest turnouts we had. So I have a really good feeling that, folks in this area are going to want to get involved and things like that. So that's going to be really cool. So there's that, there's the Ghost Chicken Project, which I've talked about before. I think you guys know about it. A vegan restaurant haunted by the ghost of the chicken, and the one girl's determined to figure out why. That project's been on my slate for a long time, and it's been pushed back because of Never Hike Alone and COVID and all of those things. But that is a project that we do want to get made with Mako. We may be able to do some stuff with some local animation folks around here as well, depending on people's involvement, things like that. But that's a project that I'm hoping to get crowdfunded probably early next year, which would be full animation. This is a project that's probably going to be at least $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 to animate, which sounds like a lot of money, but in animation, that's almost nothing. So I got a question for you guys. Do you think that if I said, hey, Womp Stomp Films is making a short film, animated film, about 25 minutes, and it's called Ghost Chicken, do you think I could raise about $75,000 to get that made? Which would be, probably put it on maybe some shirts. The logo and all the stuff is like super legit. I love that. You can find stuff about Ghost Chicken online. I believe on the website we have some imagery. We've updated that since. We've had some updated character designs. Let me see, what other projects do we have? No. I think that I do have a couple ideas for some other short films too. Obviously, there's the EMF short film I've talked about in the past, which is a ghost hunting one. I got another film called The Kindness of Strangers. that I worked with that was supposed to be a feature before COVID. And sort of COVID knocked it off course. We still have the script. It's an excellent script. And so I've been thinking about taking the opening of it and turning it into a short film. I do know that The Kindness of Strangers is a title that's been taken by others for other things. I don't know if we'll keep it or if we'll change it, but it's a really, really cool one that I think that we'd like to get funded for next year as well. And look at that. We got our first super chat. And of course, it's from Allie. Don't have a question, but just because I love these streams, have a great weekend, Vinny. Thank you so much, Allie. That's great. Mardina said she'd chip in. Jacob's going to be a co-producer again. He's going to trade in all of his cosplay just to afford to become another producer. Yeah, so yeah, Dylan's New Nightmare is almost he's been working on the Blu-ray. In fact, I believe the behind the scenes is almost done. That's what's been holding it up. It should be out in a little bit, and Cecil will put that order in. We're both going through the same place, so it takes about 4 or 5 weeks for it to turn around. He's working on it. All I'll say is, like with me, with Cecil, with anybody, just give us patience. It's a lot of work to put all this through, and we're one person. Like I wish I was 5 people to do 5 things at once, but I got to take it sort of one thing at a time. In between life stuff and all that stuff too. So you definitely got to give us a break there. Let me see what else is going on. Just going through some things. I should have Laura Marie on. I was a guest on her stream. We're good friends. I'd love to have her on to chat. I should have, should probably talk to Larry. Maybe I can get Brian Fuller. Swing big, you know what I mean? Swing dead meat level. I'm also considering working on a slasher script. That's going to be fun. That's great. I know Davies pitched me some stuff. I still think, I don't know if I'm talking out of turn, but I think I'd mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, or I might have mentioned this on another stream, but Tom pitched me this idea a long time ago based on this book called Night of the Living Sex Dolls. And I don't know. My manager would probably tell me to stay far away from a project with that title, but I just got a feeling that if you took Womp Stomp, got a bunch of like industry sort of like vets to sort of be a part of, some young up and coming stars, some people from Never Hike Alone, went out and got a good writer to really convert the book into a fun script. I think that we could crowdfund the shit out of that thing, honestly. I would love to make that movie. It's so funny. It's got like Return of the Living Dead vibes with, obviously the funny humor that they're all, sex toys and things like that all come to life, which is really, really funny, which, no spoilers. There's a book out there. You can read it. I don't know where you can buy it, but I know you can probably get it at a convention somewhere if you find the author. And if the author's listening, please, let's talk. I think I want to make this movie one day. But that's been the nice thing about Never Hike Alone 2 being over is the fact that, thanks Undead chipping into his own cause. I love it. The thing I love about Never Hike Alone 2 being done is that it has opened up sort of like a big wave of, big breath of, fresh air to be like, it's done. For sure. But at the same time, it's like left room for the other things that I've been working and putting off for a long time, to sort of jump onto those things. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit tonight, is that I can kind of sense the end of Never Hike Alone 2 coming. In fact, I'm almost done fighting SAG for my money back. So I should get that back soon. So we can put that towards some of your, the Blu-rays and things like that. So that's going to be over pretty soon, but no, I'm looking forward to it. You know what I mean? Like I know that fans have been waiting for original stuff for a long time, and we're always going to, I've had a lot of fun doing fan films. I would love to do more fan films of, like Red Dead Redemption. I would love to direct a Ghost of Tsushima fan film. I actually have 2 ideas for both of those. But this has really opened up my world as far as being able to talk to filmmakers from around the world and different people from around the world that have things going on. So I might be able to, I think, make the best of doing co-productions with other people. That way I can focus on the original stuff and maybe partner with some people that do the fan film stuff. But there's some stuff, going out there. So, the future looks bright. So we're about 45 minutes in, and I don't plan on going too long tonight, maybe another 15 minutes, but are there any questions? Are there any things out there in the audience's world that you guys want to know, or is there anything else you want my opinion on so I can talk crap about things? We can all joke about it and get yelled at by people on the internet. Um, let me see. I'm just going through. Bup, 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 bup. Here we go. Yeah, let me think. What else is going on? Oh, one thing I didn't get a chance to talk about because I wasn't on last week, but I got a chance to see Civil War last week, which I highly recommend. If you haven't seen it, it's a good film. It's I don't know if I don't want to spoil anything, but I just remember going in and I just remember the discourse of people arguing about the political side of this or that, what started it, yada yada. I thought it was very clear. Um, movie's pretty simple. It's about photojournalists and journalists trying to interview the president in the middle of a civil war. And the civil war starts because the president takes autonomy, sole control of the government, refuses to leave power, stays in, I think, for a third, maybe even a fourth term, dissolves the FBI, starts airstriking his own citizens in certain countries. So a couple of states turn on them and they start a civil war. But it's not really the focus of the story. That's just sort of the backdrop. The real story in it, which I thought was really fascinating, which I really related to, was about this photographer, Lee, who's played by Kirsten Dunst, and this young up and coming photographer who I can't remember the character's name because I'm so bad at that. But what it is, it's about careers. It's about passion and it's about life. You have somebody who's been doing it for a while, maybe too long, has seen some things, has had some things happen to them, has lost people along the way, and is sort of jaded to what it means to be a photojournalist, surrounded by all of this chaos and death and destruction and just being really numb to it. And this young girl who aspires to be like this woman, and as soon as she jumps into it and she starts to follow her dream, she realizes how traumatizing it really is. And she has these moments too, where she sees somebody get killed in front of her. She almost gets killed. She gets into situations where she almost gets into trouble and sees things that she never thought humankind could be possible. And you see her sort of throughout the course of the film change. And both of the characters change too, where Kirsten Dunst starts as really hardened and you can't really sort of get past this outer shell. And she starts to realize, like, what's the point of all of this throughout the point of the film? And, this other girl who realizes she has to toughen up actually starts to grow that cold heart. You see these two characters, sort of two ships passing in the night in opposite directions, because they're both ascending to certain things. And I have to say that as a filmmaker, I recognized what was going on, because I remember who I was when I first started doing Never Hike Alone and who I am now that Never Hike Alone is over. And a lot of that sort of passion, that sort of blind passion, I just want to do, meeting my heroes. Oh my God, I just want to do what you do. If I could just get up every day and do what you do, and then actually having to live that life and actually get up every day and see something through to the very end, it changes you. And you get to the end of it and you question it. But I do have to say that, unlike the story of Civil War, which I think has a very powerful ending, I think it says a lot. It's not your typical Hollywood ending where everyone gets the best story and, everyone goes away happy with flowers and married and they ride the Millennium Falcon, into the sky. It's got a very pointed message, and it sort of makes you look at sort of what you've done in your career and look back at that. Now, after seeing that movie and having that experience, it was really nice to sort of be around the film festival last weekend, because I did feel that sort of Lee Shaw, and I guess that's Lee Shaw's from Godzilla, but that Lee character, I felt less like that person. I felt more inspired and invigorated by the youth that I was surrounded by, because they all had aspiration dreams of things that, I've had a real, blessing to experience over the last 8 years, with the Never Hike Alone projects. When I first started, I didn't know if anybody was going to watch them, until to see them grow and be loved, and obviously be able to do a stream where a whopping 20 people will watch me. That is, to me, that is sort of, you sort of lose that in the forest through the trees type of thing. So looking back and seeing that, and to see these young filmmakers who are hoping to build their own careers and build their own channels and tell their own stories, it reminded me that I'm not at the end of my career. I'm not looking, I'm not on the outside looking in like that. I'm actually still at the beginning of it. I'm just getting started. There's lots of projects that are going to be coming up. I'm hoping that I can take this channel that I've built and help others, talking about the co-production that we're going to do hopefully pretty soon. I talking to those filmmakers, I was like, listen, I think you already got a great idea. I think people already sort of know who you are, but what I would like to do is let you flex the Womp Stomp logo and see if you could reach a bigger audience, because the project deserves it. I would love to amplify projects that, meet sort of what the channel is and what we do. And obviously be able to spread that knowledge about crowdfunding and all of those things. Speaking of amplifying some things, obviously I talked about Dylan's New Nightmare. My good friend Mike Lombardo has a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo called Dead Format. And if you don't know who Mike Lombardo is, he is a brilliant director. He directed a film called Dreaming of a White's Doomsday, which I believe is streaming. I believe you can find that in many, many places. If it's not on Amazon, it's got to be somewhere. He actually wrote another book called Don't Tap on the Glass, which is like perfect. He's got a great sense of humor. He is actually guarding. I had all of the Jason Goes to Hell comics, I had all the Jason versus Leatherface comics, and they were sort of sitting on my shelf, and he was looking for them, and actually gifted to him for his birthday a few years ago. And he hasn't directed, I believe, since Dreaming of a White Doomsday, which really like floored the festival market. They're crowdfunding on Indiegogo. I believe their goal is $60,000. I believe he's already crossed $20,000 within the first 5 days. So definitely go out and support Mike. Go out and support Cecil with Dylan's New Nightmare. And, and then when you guys are done doing that, we'll be back in a month and a half or so with Dylan's new, the final cut for there. Anthony's got a question. What about the perk for the Battlehawk soonish? We're going to put those orders in pretty soon. Some of it's been done. It's just about, I'm trying to get money. Like, you have to give deposits for certain things like SAG and all that stuff. So I'm waiting to get my SAG deposit back so I can put some things into motion. I've also been raising more money for some of the other things we're going to go, but it's like one thing after the next, after the next, after the next. I got to double check all the perks, make sure I'm ordering the right things. What do I have in stock? What I don't. And I haven't had that day to sit down and go through all the stuff yet to see what's there. It's going to be like another month or two before I'm even starting to send stuff out. I have identified people who don't need to wait. Like, they literally didn't even get an Ever Hike Alone 2 Blu-ray. They got a shirt, a poster, a pin, something that's like easily I can ship now. So those shipments are probably going to start in a couple of weeks. I got to put the Blu-rays in. The masks are going to take a few weeks, but not only are the masks going to take a few weeks, I have to collect the masks, the axes, the machetes. I believe we did one or two sickles, some signs and stuff like that. I got to go to LA. We got to have a signing party. Unfortunately, the way I wanted to do it last time didn't really work. So I got to go back out there. I got to get all that stuff signed. And instead of trying to ship it to 5 different people, I think the idea is just go there, go to one place, have everybody show up to one place, probably Tom's house with his 5,000 dogs, and get all that done, go get some dinner and call it a day. And then I'll fly back west, fly back east and do that. Let me see. I got some stuff. I'm curious if you ever wondered about Friday the 13th will get into Dead by Daylight, and if maybe Ghost Jason could add it as a skin. On principle, I hope not, because I just don't like Dead by Daylight, and I feel like they don't do horror people justice. I feel like they take the horror out of the horror character and sort of turn them into this goofy character that exists on Dead by Daylight instead of doing the things that are fun, like in Friday the 13th, the game. I just hope that Jason gets his own game, if anything. Let me see. What can I tell you about the werewolf movie? Let me see. It's contemporary. It's set in modern day. Maybe. I mean, it might be sort of timeless too. It is very small scale. It is not a huge werewolf movie. It's a very personal story. It's actually a love story, which I think something's been woven into multiple werewolf films too. But this one, I think, really hits home. I think, the core of the film is about relationships. It's about how far we'll go for the person that we love. It's got a little bit of that let the right one in feel to it. But just is a little bit more complicated. It's not as cut and dry as sort of let the right one in. And I'm probably about halfway through it. I have the old story figured out. It's just about, what's said, what actually happens in these scenes, making sure that certain things are happening by certain moments in the story, and not getting lost on these giant tangents of them not, progressing story and do all those things. So I got about halfway through there, and then I had to turn around on another project that I'm working on because I finally cracked the code on what rewrite I wanted to do. It's something that was written by somebody else that they had asked me to do a rewrite. So I've done that. That was like a new opening, and then weaving in some different facts and sort of working in some camera work so we could sell the film visually. So I've been working on that too. So just lots of different things. And then had some scripts come across my desk as well that I had to read and give some notes on, which I still owe a read to Cecil's script because it's taking me a little longer because that's a feature and it takes a lot out of me to sit down and actually focus on a script, get it all done in one sitting when I have a ton of stuff going on. So I've been clearing my plate for that. Yes, Undead. Good reminder. Bloop. Like and subscribe. Thank you. ERB 100. I got a sickle. Is it like real metal or a foam prop? It's probably just going to get the display case if it's real metal. It's not real metal. None of them were real metal. They were plastic, but we may give you an option because there were sickles. One of them broke, but then there were two like prop sickles that were used as like props in the film, not like actual sickles, but like the one that we used to cut the nurse, and the other one's the one that we threw that ended up in the guy's back. So we're going to offer that as well. Or we'll just make a new one for you. But I don't know. I think the actual prop is kind of cooler than that, which would be really rad. Thoughts on the Drake May pick? I'm one of the guys who's saying that we just got Mac Jones 2.0. I don't care what you say, what anybody says. How do you really get excited about a dude from UNC who couldn't beat top talent in the league? Honestly, it's depressing watching the Patriots. It really is. That photo of them all standing there in their corporate sports jackets, looking like a cult. Like, give me Bill Belichick and his dog back. Like, I wasn't done watching that show, man. Like, I wanted to watch it all the way till he got the record, and then you can go replace him with these lifeless corporate idiots that are now taking over the Patriots, which it's really sad to watch, honestly. Like, it looks like, it looks like the New England Patriots got taken over by whatever company is in office space. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a bunch of Bobs sitting there in that office counting numbers and doing things, and just really, nothing excites me about Drake May. Nothing excited me about any of the quarterbacks in this draft. The only good pick in this draft was Marvin Harrison Jr. He was the only just superior athlete that seems like he's going to be a Hall of Fame player. I'm sure somebody else will pop up in this draft and there will be other sort of hidden things, but the team needs weapons. Look at the San Francisco 49ers. They have Brock Purdy, who's the last pick in the draft, but they have nothing but weapons. I would have rather have taken, JJ McCarthy in the third and had a bunch of weapons up front. Although I'll just say this draft moment of the night. I don't know if you guys were watching. I don't know if you guys are football nerds. Sorry to kind of go into this. Awkward point of the night was when Joe Alt got picked, I believe, 5th by the Chargers. That was the most awkward live stream I've ever seen. And you could see him like looking off the camera to the director who was like, you gotta react, man. Like, you gotta stand up and like hug your girlfriend. And he's like, and they got up all awkward and like hugged. It was the funniest thing I ever saw. But it was super hilarious. Let me see. Nice and well done horror movie that makes you think about relationships way more appealing to me than your typical rom-com. Yeah, I know. I think it does. Actually, the werewolf one's like really deep. I think if you've been in like a trying relationship ever, or if you've just like ever questioned your own relationship or just had to push through something really, really hard in a relationship, that's what this is really about. That's really what the story is. The werewolf of it all is just sort of a mechanism of, sort of throwing people's lives into the balance. But overall, I think it's going to be a lot really different for me. I think it really kind of hits on some of the better, my better writing skills, I think, for this. So I'm really excited about that. But okay, we're coming up on an hour. I think that's probably going to do it for me tonight, if there aren't any other questions. Unless I can think of something else. Yeah. So what did we learn tonight? We learned that the New Bedford Film Festival was friggin' awesome. And if you didn't come this year, you should come next year, because I think we're going to get super upgraded. Hopefully the Zeiterion Theater, which is our local, like, big theater, historical theater, which, if you don't know much about New Bedford, it's a colonial town. We have cobblestone streets out there. It's really cool. Lots of stuff to do down in the harbor. Restaurants galore. It's really, really good food. Emeril Lagasse's from this area, and actually his nephew has a restaurant in New Bedford. My best friend, he's married to my best friend's sister, called Dough Company. So shout out to them. Go down and grab some coffee over there if you're ever in town. Do that. Let me see. Chicago Horror Film Festival, May 3rd through 5th. If you're in the Chicago area, come on out, say hello, come to the panel, watch the film, stay for the awards, hang out afterwards. We'll probably all be networking and hanging out at some local bar afterwards. And then I'm going home Sunday, and it's back to work for the man. And then hopefully have some stuff there. Never Hike Alone 2 Digital Awards soon. And then hopefully I can get this behind the scenes finished up not too long after that. And then, yeah, lots of new projects on the horizon. So next week on the Ghost Files, if all works out, I will have a special guest on, and we will do an announcement for Womp Stomp Films' next fan film venture, which will, honestly, when you guys hear this, when you hear what we're getting involved with, you're going to be like, my own. Cheese, and that it's going to be a good cream-filled cannoli. Let me tell you that much. You guys are going to love it. You're going to eat it up. And yeah, I'm excited about it. And there's some other stuff going on behind the scenes. I can't even talk about that may pan out, and hopefully will pan out. Casey Jones movie? No, not Casey Jones. But if you want to watch Casey Jones, you can watch Livewire, a Casey Jones fan film by my good friend Adam Michaels, which is streaming on Chromatic Phantom YouTube. Wow, remembered all of that. My ADHD did not hinder me this time. That's pretty impressive. Let me see. What are you doing, Jacob? I thought maybe someday I might try making a longer film out of that short film I found. May I ask for some tips for you about that? Here we go. It's free. Here we go. So we had a panel during the New Bedford Film Festival that talked just about this. You probably saw it. We talked about it before, Jacob. You probably saw it. But if I could sum up the theme of that, was that no matter what, whether you're going from short to feature, is that you just have to be ready for the best and the worst to happen. In fact, one of the questions I had for the panelists was, can you describe what the lowest point was, how you overcame it, and did that lead to the highest point? And each one of the panelists talked about certain hiccups that they gotten, obviously all the hiccups that happened on Never Hike Alone, about all the delays that we had, the information I had about the filmmaker. It took 3 years to find the right cast for his film. He needed the perfect lead, and it took 3 years to find her. Another filmmaker who talked about, the creative breakups that we have along the way, that we have these creative relationships with people that we share creative adventures with, and then one day it just doesn't work anymore. And you got to say goodbye to those people because you're not on the same creative page. So, Jacob, I think more than anything is that, there's never too much pre-production. Obviously you got to finish what you start. You can't just sit on things forever and expect things to get done. But if you want to turn a short film into a feature film, and depending on where you want it to go, what you want it to look like, it's going to take years of hard work. And if you're just 17 right now, you have plenty of time. Might be something that you want to do when you get to school. If you're going to go into filmmaking when you're at school, have this as your project that you're going to use in each one of your classes when you have to go into writing class. Well, when you have to go write a script, well, now you have to write your script within a semester, and you're going to be doing it under the guidance of a script, of a professor, somebody who's a professor in writing or has a master's in writing is going to be able to help you develop your story. depending on the story of your short film, because I'm trying to remember it and I can't think of it off the top of my head, but you got to see how that plays out in a feature length film. What is the core theme of the story you're telling, and how does it, you know, how does it blossom out into a much longer story? What is the bigger tale? Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember the film. It was just, I remember it was a really cool series of images. I know the relationship you had between the monster and the girl. There was the monster and the girl monster, and I think that you need to find out what their story is. And how does that story encapsulate? Like, are they taken apart? Are they going on an adventure together? Is she lost and he's taking revenge? Is he lost and she's taking revenge? Who were they before? Who were they after? And sometimes these are just, you know, things you have to explore just to understand what you're going to write. It might not even end up in the film. I mean, there's things about Never Hike Alone. And, we talked about things in Never Hike Alone, how I came up with the idea that the head is in this attic above the kitchen because that's where they lived before they moved into a cabin, or maybe that's where they lived there the whole time. We don't say it in the film, but it became this inspiration for me to like decorate the room. You know what I mean? It's going to add details that you're going to put in there that the audience will pick up on in certain ways, and even you will feel it as you write it. So I would just say take your time, use it as your template, keep playing with it, keep using it as your, like, I know you have that character and you have the characters that you build, like just keep working with them and just keep improving. And each time you go out, you're going to get better. And then I will say that naturally you will get to that place where you will feel confident, or maybe what's the word, you'll be ignorant enough to think, hey, I can do this. And we all are there. Trust me, I was the same way in Never Hike Alone. Is the same way with everything. Once you get that confidence, once you get that excitement, you just go for it. And wherever the cards land, wherever the cards land. And if anything ever trips you up, you can just take a pause and you can start again down the road. Failure is a part of the process, and just succumb to it. And, over years, I can't wait to see what you're going to do. I know, you have a big passion for this, and I'm really looking forward to what you're doing. Let me see what else. It's basically like a concept trailer, almost smaller ideas mashed together. I know that right now I would make the main theme to be death and moving on. Well, there you go. Well, you have your main theme, you have that. Another quick tip for how I write. Lately, I've been kind of breaking my own rule. I've just been diving in and writing. But I would say when you're starting out, note cards. Note cards are a great thing. So what's your first scene? Write the scene down. Take the card up, put it on the wall. What's your second scene about? Write it on the card, put it on the wall. And when you finish every single scene and you have it all up on the wall, that becomes your to-do list. Every day or every, few days or whatever you can do, take down a card, write that scene. Take down the next card, write that scene. And after you do that 70 times, you're going to have a full-length movie. Then you got to read through that script. And it's much easier to fix a bad script than it is to write a perfect script on the first time. So the first script may be filled with typos, maybe filled with bad ideas, maybe filled with scenes that don't belong in there. Just get the ideas on the page. And once they're on the page, they can be pushed around, they can be changed, they can be improved, they can be cut, they can do anything you want. So, you know me, you can email me anytime. I'll be happy to help you and give you any advice that you need. You want me to read something, or if you want any advice on script writing. Like I use Final Draft, but just because it's industry standard and I've had it on my computer forever. You can have Scrivener, Celtics, which is another one too. There's some cheaper ones out there, Screenwriter Pro, something like that. But just get yourself a screenwriting program as well, because it's just going to make things easier. Learn how to work with the stuff. I also find it's easier to type in like a notes program, like a Microsoft Word, or I have a Mac computer, so I have the stickies. I write in stickies all the time just because it's raw thought. And then you take that raw thought and you put it in, not that hoe over there, a thought in your brain, in the squishy pink that's in the skull that you have in on your control center up here. Just raw feed. You got to get the ideas out and you got to push them around. And as you're pushing the ideas around, you get inspired to do other things as well. All right, Jacob, here we go. You're giving away the whole plot now. No one's going to want to watch. Dario, is it something like one of Dario Argento's films? No, No. It's not a giallo. I'm thinking of the thing I'm working on, the collab. I think that could be a great spin on what would work for them. Dario Argento meets a famous character. Who's it going to be? But yeah, let's see. All right, Jacob, thank you. I can see your passion. You're just flowing out. I hit something. I hit a wrong button. Oh no, what am I going to do? All right. So, all right, guys, I'm petering out. So this is going to be it. Anyway, Jacob, thank you for the question. If there's nothing more than that, and if Blake can't afford anything, then you know what? Then I can't go any. You know, if he can't fund any more of the stream, then the stream's got to end. I gotta switch over to OnlyFans tonight, guys. So just swinging me there. Remember, Davey Deathray is starting up, and I believe in about 20 minutes. So jump on over to his channel. I believe this will lead you over there. Just hang out here for a little bit. Davey, good luck tonight. You know, like I said, next week we're going to check in. Hopefully, going to have an announcement of a brand new project. I'll have some updates on the Never Hike Alone 2 Indiegogo. Maybe have a guest on to talk about that project, and then guests galore. The week after, I'll be in Chicago, and then the week after that, we'll really hit the ground running this summer. I'll try to line up as many guests as possible, and we'll have lots of updates, lots and lots of updates for you throughout the summer about Never Hike Alone as we progress and with the final cut. So with that said, I hope everybody has a great and wonderful weekend. Make sure to stay safe, you know, never hike alone. And until next time, I will see you all on the trails. Have